My topic was motocross in the 2000s. My topic was motocross in the 2000s. Throughout racing, motocross was just an unknown sport. Yeah, I mean, it had its fan base, but there was nothing that actually separated motocross from any other generic sport like baseball, soccer, and football, and everything like that. Motocross was in the dark throughout the 80s and the 90s. And then when a guy, Ricky Carmichael, came into the picture, he came through the Loretta Lynn's. He had 97 championships by the time he left Loretta Lynn's. When he went into his pro career in 1998, Ricky Carmichael not only won his rookie career in the 125 class, which is the smaller bike, but he won every single race for the entire year, twice. Now, obviously that was not in the 2000s, but when 2000 came, Ricky Carmichael was moving up into the bigger 250cc class. When he did, Ricky Carmichael, people knew he meant business, but usually when someone who's good in the 125 class moves up to a 250 class, they just kind of get this thing called washed up. They become nobodies. Ricky Carmichael not only proved the motocross industry, but the fan-based industry completely wrong. 2000 came, and Ricky Carmichael went into the 250 class in his rookie year on a CR 250. And not only won his first opener, but all 24 races in the motocross season and all 24 motos in the supercross season. People fed off Ricky Carmichael's vibe that he put off. Not only was he this fast, dedicated training, hardworking guy, yet he still had that friendly, you could sit down and hang out and have a drink with him. He was a good guy. And there was interviews with Ricky Carmichael months after this championship that the racing season was over and Ricky Carmichael was still going to the gym every single day. And it was just like a different breed of man, because Ricky Carmichael had this trainer called Alden Baker. Alden Baker was, he was a totally different style trainer. Now, usually the trainers back in that day, they would have their rider run 20 minutes, do a set of workouts, and they would call it a day. Now, Alden Baker not only did that, but it was strategic to the point that he would have every meal that they were going to eat for their entire 2-year contract with the team that they signed up for. And not only that, but he would take blood tests from these guys, drug tests, blood tests, any kind of test, and he would figure out what they needed in their body to help them excel more than anything. Now, the thing that made him different was, unlike a normal trainer that's hired by a head manager of a team, Carmichael said that in 2001 he spent his entire last year's salary just on a trainer. And obviously the next year in 2002 he made more money than he ever did in his entire life. But in 2001 Ricky Carmichael went and took the title away from Jeremy McGrath. Now, McGrath was the Mao Zedong of motocross. He was on top. It was his regime pretty much. And now, as the years went on, Carmichael won championship after championship, and he ended up having more championships than anyone else in the entire racing series in the shortest amount of time. He was only in the series for almost 10 years now, and he had more wins than anyone who's been in the series for almost 30 years. Granted, the oldest motocross racer as of right now is only 24, because racing motocross, people don't understand it, but it is so physically demanding that a 25-year-old's body can't even handle it anymore. There's guys who are retiring at 25 and they're leaving with rods in their legs, rods down their backs, and it's not publicized. Now, in 2004, Ricky Carmichael made his comeback, if you will. He never really left. He missed 4 races at the end of the motocross season in 2003. When 2005 came around, this year was known as the calm before the storm. Now, let me explain. Now, Carmichael was obviously at the peak of his performance in 2005 and 2004. And emerged another face from Loretta Lynn's was James Stewart. James Stewart not only being the first black person to ever qualify for a professional motocross race, but he also won his first rookie season as a 125 too, and dominated it without losing a single race. There wasn't a single race that went by where there wasn't each other's plastics being scraped against each other and another person getting taken out and crashed and hit, and it was hectic. As you can see, Carmichael and Stewart had not only a rivalry, but they didn't like each other. Even off the track, I remember watching interviews, Carmichael just hated James Stewart. Hated him with a passion because, you know, yeah, I mean, he was kind of a sore loser, but that's what made him him. He was a champion at heart. I remember reading this interview and Carmichael was saying, you know, I'd win a race and I would go home and I would watch the race over and over and make sure I did nothing wrong. And when I found something wrong, I would go out and I'd work on it and I'd go to the gym. He goes, Stewart, on the other hand, when he wins a race, he goes home and eats McDonald's and eats a couple brownies and he sleeps tight in his bed. That's what separates a champion between someone who just knows how to win. Now, another good quote that I heard was Carmichael was saying, when James is winning, he's feeling the weightlessness of accomplishment. When I'm winning, I'm feeling the burden of expectation.